Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is going to be another fix it video, another video where I buy something faulty off eBay and I do my best to fix it. Now I keep saying this in these videos, but I am not an expert at these repairs. In this instance here, I have never taken apart one of these before and I've never fixed one of these before. So just to let you know what it is, I already know without opening the package what it is, because I was walking up the stairs the other day and all of a sudden it burst into life and I heard this big tick 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 tick. So it is a clock. Now, in a few trying to fix episodes ago, I did a little watch, a little lady's watch, and it didn't go well. I ended up breaking the fourth wheel, and then it couldn't be fixed. So, you know, I'm getting a spare. I might try it again in the future. But the problem is, when you're dealing with components so small, especially when you're not used to it, it's really hard. So, I like the idea of watches and clocks. So I thought, why not try to fix a clock? Because it's bigger than a watch. So hopefully, my unskilled hands might be able to do it. So let's open it up. I bought a very cheap one off eBay, but the reason I like this one is because it just looks so old. So I don't know whether it is really old or whether it's just handmade or something, but going by the pictures it kind of looks different to anything I've seen before. So that could be because maybe somebody's made it themselves, or maybe it is, you know, extremely old. But the main thing is that it's not working. So like I say, don't copy me in these videos. Make sure that you just do it just for entertainment. Oh, it looks like it's been wrapped up in some kind of like strawberry container or something. Very well packed. Yeah, don't copy me in these, because especially when it comes to things like clocks and watches, this sort of thing is an art. You know, people learn this skill for years. So the things that I do will obviously be wrong. The terminology I use will be wrong as well. I'm going to be calling something a gear when it should probably be called a wheel or a mainspring or something else. So remember that, it's just for entertainment and it's not a how-to video. Right, very well packed. Well, we've got more. I want to be careful now because I don't want to damage it. Oh wow, it really does look old. I don't know whether it's old or just cheap, but to me it looks old, unless it's been some kind of like schoolboy project at school or something. Right, well there it is. Okay, it's been, it looks like it's been glued down onto something. Yeah, it's like sort of plastery stuff at the bottom. So maybe that was just glued down onto the mantelpiece to stop it falling off. I'm not too sure. It looks particularly rough at the bottom. It doesn't look finished. I wonder whether... I'm wondering now, do you reckon it was the top of something? You know, a piece of furniture or something like that? Maybe it was... I'm not sure. I don't know whether it was a standalone clock or... Just looking here and it looks like... It looks very unfinished. But maybe that's just all the glue. I can definitely see glue, and then I can see this horrible plaster stuff as well. Right, there's definitely some writing here. Can't really make out what it says. I'll have to look at it closely later. But there's definitely some writing up here. Looks like that's going to come out that way. Right, okay. Yeah, sure. But that dial there does look very old, doesn't it? Well, let me show you what I paid for it. I didn't pay much money at all. Here it is. I got it from eBay, and it's vintage Gothic mantle clock, wooden case, not working. So I only paid $8.99, and that was free postage. So, yeah, very cheap, really. A few pictures on it, and it just says... The clock measures approximately 13 centimeters high by 9 centimeters wide. Some slight signs of age and use to the wooden case. The clock occasionally bursts into life for a few minutes, then stops. And that is definitely true, because that's exactly what I heard earlier on. So, there you go. Okay, I heard a ticking for a second or two. Right, let's give it a little wind. Okay, I think it's fully wound. Oh no, you wind that way, do you? Right, okay, well it's not doing anything there, and you can see it's loose. Right, okay, let's take it apart, and we'll have a look on the inside, see if we can work out what could possibly be wrong with it. There you go, it's going now. Went for a second. Right, well at least it does sound like it's trying to tick, so hopefully we might have a possibility of getting this one working. I would love to see it tick again, even if it doesn't keep good time. It would be lovely just to see it ticking again. Right, let's get a mat out and get a few tools out and see what we can do with this. Right, okay, let's start by just undoing these two little nuts at the back. Seems to be going now, but it seems to be ticking very fast. I can see an S here and an F here, so I presume that means fast and slow, so you must be able to adjust the speed of it via something here, but I can't actually see, you know, what's there really. Now do I have to take this off or what? Oh yeah, there we go, okay. So you just turn that one clockwise. This looks like some kind of brass or something. Oh wow. Right, okay. Oh, here we go. Brilliant, and it's out. Now I wonder, is that a solid piece of wood? It should be, shouldn't it? Right, I don't know what wood it is. It looks like there's a very slight border on it, so if you have a look here, you can see just a tiny border working its way round a few millimetres from the edge. So this is obviously the front, because it's not on the back here. Maybe it's an actual, you know, mantelpiece clock. Just wondering why it's got all this glue and then also this kind of like plastery stuff on it. Right, okay, so here we have the actual clock itself, so I'm going to have to try to get into this to find out what's going on. So obviously this is the main spring here. Let me zoom in a bit. Right, so this is the main spring here. So basically when you wind it, it's storing all its energy in the spring, and then it just goes through a series of cogs basically to unwind throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, when this is fully unwind, all the energy's gone and then the clock will stop working, so then you have to wind it up again. If it wasn't for all the wheels everywhere, then it would just unwind itself in a couple of seconds, but because of all the wheels it slows it down and it just moves like a fraction of a millimetre every second, or however long it is. So yeah, I can definitely see it's trying to move. I'm just wondering, how do I get into this now? Looks like there used to be screws in here, here and here, but they're not there now, so maybe I can just pull it out. Oh, there's one screw left here. Right, so it looks like there was 3 screws once upon a time, now there's only 1. I'd love to know how old this is. You know, to me it looks really, really old, but maybe it's just cheap, and that's what makes it look older than it is. It's probably some of you watching this that will be able to give a good guess on how old it is. Right, so it looks like this is all part, this kind of sleeve and this bit is all part of the same thing. And there's an X here as well, so maybe X goes up the top. Yeah, that must be it, X must be the top. There we go, right, we're out. Okay, so that's definitely feels like, yeah, that's definitely glass. Right, okay. Be careful now, I don't want to cut myself. There you go, you see. Looks like there's a slight scratch in it there. But really, that's pretty good. Right, okay, so nice curved glass there. Oh, it looks absolutely ancient. I'm going to just put the macro on that thing there because I don't actually know what it says, so I'm going to use the camera to zoom right in. Right, okay, so I still don't actually know what that says. 3-25, then something's written, and then 940 and something's written. I don't know. Don't know what that means. Maybe it means absolutely nothing. It's not exactly written in a kind of like, it doesn't look professional, you know? Can't see any markings or anything else. Oh yes I can, actually there's something written here. Something written up here. Zoom in on that again. Again I can't make it out. It looks like it says 125 58 something in that funny HS symbol again. 12558. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means. Probably, who knows, might not mean anything at all. Right, okay, let's continue on. Right, so here we have the clock itself. It's got a kind of shiny cover, so I don't know whether that would be some sort of lacquer or something, but the face looks like it's got a shine to it. Right, so I suppose I'll have to pop the hands off and then see if I can work out what's going on. Maybe it just all needs a good clean and an oil. But I think I'm going to have to take the hands off just to see what's going on. Well, I've got a little watch repair kit. Hopefully it will work for clocks as well. Right, so the hour hand's gone on first, then it's the minute hand. And they've got a slight twist to them at the end. I'm not sure if they're supposed to or not. Oh, actually maybe not. They're just sort of curved over. It's just the design of them. Right, so I'm going to try to prise these hands off. I'm using this little bag just so I don't damage the face. Now I hope these hands do come off like this. I know that's how watch hands come off, but I'm not sure about clocks. No, they don't want to come off. Right. Maybe it's slightly different. I don't even know how you're supposed to set the time on this. Maybe you're supposed to turn this middle one at the back. Right, that does the minute hand, but what's doing the hour hand? Because the hour hand's not moving with the minute. Oh yes it is. It is moving. Right, okay, so I better get that back to how it was before. Right, okay, so you set the time by twisting this thing at the back. Right, okay, that's fair. That's fair enough now. Right. I can't actually see how I undo this. Oh, it looks like there's a little split pin here. Not a split pin, but a little pin in these little ones going across. So maybe I have to knock one of them out. Let's zoom in a bit so you guys can see. Well, it's fully wound. I can tell by the mainspring that it's fully wound there. So why is it not passing its energy through? It goes to there. It certainly looks like it's a lot easier to understand than the watches. Well, I'm just going to have a good look around it, and then if I work anything out, then I'll obviously stop the stop the video and show you guys. Right, okay, it appears to be working now, so if I zoom in here, you can see it, this one is constantly going round, so every single time this goes round, there's like a little lock that only allows it to go one at a time until the balance wheel comes back, and then it moves on one more time by this thing here. You see this staff thing? So do you know what I think it is? I think that it is just... Let's have a look at this spring a second. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's keeping good time or not, obviously, but it's certainly moving right now. It stopped again. I think it just needs a clean and an oil. So rather than taking it apart, because I'm going to find it hard to take this minute hand off because it's really not wanting to come off, and you know, I don't want to... Maybe once you put it on you have to kind of give it a tap with a hammer to spread it out or something. I'm not 100% sure how that one goes on, because normally on watches they're just like a push fit, so you can just pop them off, but I used quite a bit of force and it wasn't coming off. I'm going to give it one more go because it'd be so much easier to clean if I could get the face off it. No, look, it's bending that. Right, okay. I don't know the technique to remove that. So what I'm going to do is, because it is actually working right now, I'm going to just get a Q-tip, so a cotton wool bud, and it's just so, there's so much grime in here. I'm just going to spend ages cleaning it all out, make everything spotless, and then basically just oil every single bit where something's turning. So every time you have something turning through one of these bits here, I'm going to put a drop of oil on it. Yeah? As far as I can see, it doesn't look like anything's broken. So hopefully we might be able to get this to work. And it's fully wound as well, so there doesn't seem to be a problem with the mainspring. It's just not able to release its energy. But yet it is now, because you can see it's still moving. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I don't have to do this in real time. I'm just going to fast forward through it because it's probably going to take me over an hour or so to clean it. And then when it comes to doing the oil, I'll show you what I'm doing then. Right, okay, I don't know whether that came across in the camera, but there was the mainspring completely unwound itself, because I've been trying to remove these ones here, because basically it's running erratically, so it's kind of like quick, slow, so really I need to take it apart to clean every single part off it. Right, okay, so I know I've got it right so far, because at this moment in time it's all moving freely, you see. Right, now that escape wheel's in, and you can see that that's spinning now. And now you can see it doesn't turn anymore, and that's because this thing here acts as a brake. So remember before, that escape wheel was just turning, and what would happen is whenever you would wind it up, it would just unwind within 1 second because this thing would just spin round. But because of this bit here, it's acting as a brake. So now if I try to turn this wheel here, you can see that when I do this, can you see that bottom one's actually moving around? Yeah? There you go, you can see it now. Yeah? And basically what's making this go back and forth, like oscillate, is the balance spring. So the balance spring goes this way, then 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 this way. And all it's doing is moving this staff back and forth like that. And because this is under tension here, it's allowing this to turn just one bit at a time. And that's what allows it to keep its energy all day long, just releasing a little bit at a time. Filling up these holes here, and then that's going to act as the oil for the pivots. So in a watch now you would have jewels here, and it would last a lot longer. And the reason it lasts longer with jewels rather just metal against metal is because with the jewels they're super smooth, so then when the pivot's moving like this, there's actually very little wear taking place, while when it's metal against metal it does wear, especially if they're not oiled. But with the jewel, because it's so smooth, much smoother than metal, it allows a lot less friction when it's moving like that. Have to wind in the mainspring a bit because it's blocking the balance wheel. There you go, you can see it getting smaller and smaller as it winds in. Oh, it's already wanting to go, look at it. I hope this works. Okay, so it looks like it was purely just dirt that was stopping it from working, which I suppose makes sense because once the oil gets dust and dirt in it, then it must increase the friction, and I suppose once the friction gets to a certain level, then it will start to gum up and stop things from moving, and that's why every now and then it would work and then it would just stop again for however long, you know, like half a day or something. Right, okay, so yeah, there's something so satisfying about a mechanical watch or a clock. I mean, just look at that. It's so simple, yet so clever. So basically all the energy stored in this big spring here that you wind up, and then throughout the day it just goes through all those cogs, and this thing acts as a brake, to only allow it to do one little bit at a time. This is the thing that actually keeps the time by going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So by moving back and forth, this is just moving this little break along a little bit each time. And then if you look closely up in here, you've got the hour hand cog and the minute hand cog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on the time and see how it goes. But I'm really happy with this one. So I'm going to give it one last little clean up, and then I'm going to put it back in its case. And I think I might just time it against my watch for half an hour and see what it looks like. Right, okay, so there it is. Do you know what? I really enjoyed doing this one, and it's just lovely to do something mechanical, something you can get your head round. Now, it does appear to be racing a little bit. One thing I didn't do is I didn't clean the main spring, so there might have been grease and oil in the main spring, and I'm wondering if it was a little bit sticky when it's starting to release. Could it kind of like hold back and then race a little bit? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it to my watch, just to see you know, how fast or slow it is over the next maybe half an hour. And then in the meantime, I'm going to be looking up on Google what happens when your clock is racing, because I can definitely hear it's going slow and fast. You can hear that. It doesn't sound right. Yet when I first of all put it back together, it seemed to be nice and relaxed. So I'm not sure if I've done something since then or not. But I'm just going to do a quick Google search, see what's happening, and then I'm going to see how much it's gaining as well. Right, okay, as you can see, in half an hour it's gained, well, not quite half an hour, it's gained about 6 or 7 minutes, so it's running way too fast, but that's not a problem because that can be adjusted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the back off, and basically I'm going to put it towards slow. So basically you see here, F for fast, S for slow, so I'm going to make it go towards slow, and then I'm going to do another measurement. Okay, so what I did here is I slightly lengthened the hairspring. So remember I took this bit out to you know, put the hairspring in. This is the thing that keeps the hairspring attached here. So what I did is beforehand there was probably about, I don't know, like 2 or 3 or 4 mil going through that side. So now what I've done is I've just shortened it. So it's just basically just slightly going through there. So it means that there's more hairspring here. So hopefully it will run a bit slower. I'm going to put that around about here and loosen it up and bring it back a little bit, and then see what it reads, and I can always adjust it again. So maybe I'll start in the middle. Certainly seems more relaxed now, but maybe it's going to be too slow now. Right, okay, the ticking definitely sounds better. If you listen now. you can hear that it's not racing anymore. So I've been playing around with that balance spring, and I think I'm starting to get it. So the ticking definitely sounds more consistent, but I'm not sure how good the timekeeping is yet, because obviously I haven't got a second hand, so I've got to leave it about 15 or 20 minutes just to see if it's, you know, how much faster or slower it is than this quartz watch down here. So let's just leave it here now for a little while and see what it's doing. Right, okay, so time-wise, it hasn't done great. It's probably running about 4 minutes, or is that 3? Whatever, 3 or 4 minutes fast over half an hour. So it definitely needs to do better as far as keeping time's concerned. But the main thing is that the ticking is now nice and regular. So if you listen to that. It's not racing anymore, so that's a good thing. So I'm hoping now that I will be able to get better time just by adjusting it. Maybe it's worn really bad and I might not ever be able to get this, you know, to keep good time. But for me, the main thing is getting it ticking again, which I have done, and it sounds nice and strong, and I've got a feeling that will tick all day long. I know it's running fast, but it doesn't sound like it's going to stop, you know? So, yeah, really happy with this one. There's something so satisfying about something that's all mechanical. So there's no batteries in there or anything. You give it the energy and then it will do its thing until it runs out. So I love looking at the inside of that. I would definitely like to do more clocks. Good thing about clocks is, although obviously I haven't done it properly because it's not keeping good time, it's so much easier to work with. You're not scared that you're going to break every single thing you touch. And again, this is a relatively small clock, so I presume if you got a bigger one, it would be even easier to work with. So yeah, I mean, if you would like me to do more clocks, please add it down to the comments. I think I am going to do them because it's just nice seeing everything work together, you know, everything meshing together to give a final result. So this started off by not working. All it needed was a really good clean. It had just got gummed up absolutely everywhere. Just old oil that I presume probably gets sticky and kind of looks a little bit like tar over the time and then stops things from moving. The friction must build up and then it just you know, seizes everything up. So all it needed was a good clean. The mistake I made was not releasing the pressure, the tension from the mainspring, and that's why halfway through the video it exploded out at me. But to be honest, that was good because then it meant that I could clean those, you know, wheels and stuff properly. But obviously that wouldn't be a safe way of doing it because there's quite a lot of tension there, and I presume one of them could fly out and, for example, hit you in the eye. So I did see on top of the mainspring that there was like a ratchet thing, but I didn't quite work out how to use that. But there must be a way that you can use a screwdriver to ease it off to release the tension from that spring to allow you to work on it. But remember, this is a learning curve, and the main thing is it wasn't ticking before. Well, not consistently, and now it is ticking. So to me, I'm calling that as a victory, even if it is running probably about 6 or 7 minutes fast every single hour. Personally, I love doing this one. It was probably one of my favourite trying to fix videos, and I think I will do clocks again in the future. I even seen on eBay that they do, you know, electric clocks. So what, you know, the early ones that you have to wire up to the mains. And although they would be more dangerous to work on, they would also be fun to look at as well. I'd quite like to see the inside of them because some of them now are approaching, I think they must be up on 80 years old. So, and again, they're cheap. You can get all these things for like £15, so it doesn't cost a lot of money. So if you were to break them, it's not the end of the world financially. It's a shame to break something that's been around for all this time. But you know, it's not actually going to hurt your wallet that much. So I really did enjoy doing this, and I hope to do more again in the future. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more trying to fix and how-to videos. Take care, bye now.